So today I'm going to share with you how to hit a baseball, and I'm going to use one of my students in my online coaching program as an example. And as you can see here on the left hand side, you can see that he was a bit scared of the baseball, and this is when we started working together. You can see he wasn't making contact, and you can see that his fundamentals weren't quite there. So his dad reached out because he was frustrated, because he was getting, falling behind the pack, and they didn't want to see that happen, and he was losing the love of the game. So they reached out, and you can see now this is him. You can see there's a completely different swing. You can see that he has better fundamentals. You can see that he has confidence and he has belief in himself. And so I'm going to tell you exactly what I told them and the plan we did to get him to go from what you see here on the left hand side to what you see here on the right hand side. And on the right hand side, currently he's hitting more line drive, he's hitting balls to the outfield, he's leading the pack instead of falling behind. And I'm going to improve it by sharing with you exactly what his dad just sent to me. And he said, I wanted to share Khalil's first ever inside the park home run. This was from our game yesterday. He almost took my assistant coach's head off. Laughing out, it rolled all the way to the fence. He was so pumped. You should have seen the smile on his face. Just wanted to share because his success is your success. We love working with you and we're excited for the future. And now here's the video of what he's talking about. Ooh. That's awesome. Attaboy, Khalil. That's great. So as you can see, he's a completely different hitter. He's having more success. He's having more fun. And with that being said, I'm going to tell you exactly what I told them so that he can change into that hitter. And if you're new here, I'm former MLB player Jermaine Curtis, and I help players play to their full potential so they're never falling behind the pack, but instead leading the pack. And for a very limited time, I am breaking down swings. So if you're interested in getting a free swing breakdown, meaning I'll look over your swing or your son's swing and tell you exactly what you need to do to hit more consistently or with more power. So if you're interested in that, link is below. Take advantage while you still can. So what you're seeing on the screen right now, these are the steps to hitting a baseball, and we're going to go through each one of those right now. And the first step is what I learned when I played at UCLA. Our coach used to bring us all together right before practice and talk to us, and he would say to us, you cannot outperform your self-image. And he would look in each one of our eyes as he's saying this, and he would say, you cannot outperform your self-image. And what he meant was, wherever you believe you are, that's where you're going to be. So if you believe you suck, you're going to suck. If you believe that you're good, you're going to be good. So we had to instill, the positivity, and we had to instill that mindset into Khalil so that we're able to get the rest out of him. I like to say the mental game unlocks everything else. If that's not there, then you can't play to your full potential. And I've seen it with a lot of players. I've seen it as I continue to progress all the way up to the major leagues. I've seen that there are players that had exceptional tools. They can run fast, they can hit for power, they had defense, they had the arm strength, they had all the tools to be super successful. But the one tool they didn't have was the mental game. They didn't believe that they could be good. They didn't believe that they could be great. So before we even talk about the fundamentals, before we even talk about the rest of the stuff, we had to unlock that key. We had to unlock that door so that we're able to get past that and then move forward to all the rest of the things so that he can be successful. And the way we did that was we worked on three things. We had him visualize himself hitting a baseball, visualizing himself hammering a baseball. We had him sit down and just visualize, right? I think that's super important. And then the second thing we did was his positive self-talk. Baseball is so mental. When you're playing, you start to doubt yourself. You start to think you suck because you see other players hitting the baseball. You start to have all these bad thoughts go into your head. So I wanted to train him how to get rid of that before we even started, going into the games and the practices. So we had him say things like, I am the best hitter on the team. I am good. And we would have him swing and miss. And instead of saying, oh, he sucks, we would say, I'm better than that. I'm going to get him the next time. So we were training him for the future, right? So that was the second thing we did. And then the third thing we did was we took the reps, right? You could do all the visualization, the positive self-talk, the breathing, all that stuff. You could do everything, but if you don't take reps, it's not going to work. So we practice, and we did 3 times a week of him practicing, and then they would send the video back to me, and then I'll have another plan for him each and every week. And we kind of just fix one flaw, go on to the next, fix one flaw, go to the next. And we kept taking reps and practicing. And some of these times that his dad was reaching out to me, he's like, man, I'm tired, but you know, I'm still going to go out there and work with my son. And he did. And you can see right now there's a huge transformation within, you know, him. So that is the first thing we worked on. We worked on the mental game. And just to give you even more data on what I was talking about with my coach at UCLA, we were #1 in the nation. We believed that we were good, and then we went out and played. Now you can say that guys at UCLA, they are good already, so they believe. And why are they good? Well, because they believe they're good. So that's the first key we worked on. Now, the next thing we worked on was the lower half. And most coaches and most people go straight to the swing. But the lower half is super important when it comes to hitting, because the lower half is like a foundation of the home. And if the foundation of the home is unstable, then the home comes crashing down. And so what we're trying to do as hitters is, if we have a good lower half, it's going to allow us to hit the baseball. It's going to allow us to be more consistent. It's going to allow us to get our ace swing off more consistently. But if we have a bad lower half, it's not going to allow us to get our ace swing off consistently. You can see that with a lot of young players in today's game. You can see that they're lunging on their front foot. They're not using their hips. They're not using their lower half correctly. And this is the reason why they're not getting good results, because the pitcher is trying to get you off balance. That's the reason why they throw these curveballs, the sliders, the changeup. They throw all these pitches because they're trying to move your lower half. And if they move their lower half or move your lower half, then they're going to mess up your swing. So our goal is to not allow the pitcher to move our lower half. And so I really wanted to focus on the lower half with him. And as you can see here on the left hand side, he didn't use his lower half at all. He was on his heels because he was slightly scared of baseball, and he didn't have the correct fundamentals, right? And then you can see here, there's a different hitter. You can see that he gathers back into that back leg, okay? And you can see that he has a leg kick, then he coils, okay? Showing his back head towards the pitcher. Let me move this to give you a better view. And then you can see how he rides that back leg right here, okay? Then he lands at 45 degrees, which is what we want. And then you can see how he pinches the ground with his big toe, his big back toe, and so he could stay inside the baseball and then work to it and through it. Now, all this is just the beginning stages, but you can see the progress we've made, and we're only going to improve on this so that we can make him more better, more efficient, and more consistent, right? But this is what you want to do. You want to work the lower half, because it's the foundation of the home. The better he can get himself in a good position to hit, the better he's going to get swings and more barrel to the baseball and harder hit balls, because he's putting himself in a good position to hit consistently, and that's what we want. So the next thing we worked on was his swing. And when it comes to the swing, we specifically worked on his top hand, because if you look back here on the left hand side, you can see that he would swing and miss. Now, I'm gonna be honest, it was partly because he was scared of the baseball, so that's the reason why he's on his heels and he's not swinging and hitting the ball the way that he wants to. But his swing path wasn't direct, it wasn't short, it wasn't compact, and it wasn't allowing him to drive the baseball where he was able to hit it out front and hit it hard. So we really focused on that, right? And you can see here, there's a difference. You see how his front foot gets down, and you can see his bat path and how he works to the baseball. He's real short, compact, and direct to the baseball. And when you're direct to the baseball and your top hand is going to the ball, if you're on time, you're going to hit the baseball. And you see it with him, right? You can see that he is more consistent. He's hitting the ball harder, and it's because we've been working solely on that top hand. Because again, the top hand controls the barrel and creates the path of the swing. So the better you can be with your right hand, if you're a right-handed hitter, or your left hand with your left hand, if you're a left-handed hitter, the more you're able to make more solid, hard contact, which is going to lead to high-level results. So that's the reason why we worked on the top hand, and he's having tremendous success with it. So that's the next thing you want to work on. Now, after the swing, the next thing we worked on was the extension. And you can see here on the left hand side, you can see right when he hits the baseball, okay, you can see that when he hits the baseball, you can see that the barrel goes down and he cuts through instead of continually swinging long through it. I always say that you don't want to hit the baseball, you want to catch the baseball. And you can see right here, he's hitting the baseball, meaning that he gets to it and he just goes down through it, right? And this creates a swing where the ball pops up, or he's hitting a lot of ground balls, okay? So we really want to focus on that and fix that, right? You can see here, he gets to the baseball, and you can see the baseball's here. You can see he's going long through it, the same path, right, as the ball, the same angle, right? Instead of just hitting it, he continually long through it, or in other words, like I say, is he caught the baseball. And that's what we want. We want to continue long through it, over that shoulder. And to finish, I always say you want to tap yourself on the back with your right hand. And you can see how he does that. He swings, then he continues long through it, okay? And he gives himself a pat on the back, right? And that gives you the finish through the baseball, because we don't want to just hit it. We want to continue long through it. So we really focused on him giving himself a pat on the back, catching the baseball, and then giving himself a pat on the back. And it's allowed him to hit more balls in the air because he's staying through the ball longer, as opposed to right here, he's swinging, hitting the ball, and chopping right down through it, okay? And this isn't allowing him to drive the baseball like they wanted. So that's the next thing you want to do, is you want to catch the baseball and then give yourself a pat on the back with your top hand, and that's going to allow you to hit more line drives and be more consistent. So the last and final thing we did was we made practices fun. And I really harped on this. I told his dad, hey, you have to make practices fun, especially at this age, right? Because we don't want it to be like work. You know, when you become professional, it's work and it feels like a job. But at this age, we want him to practice so that he can get ahead of the curve. But we don't want to make it feel like it's practice. We need to keep it fun. And I shared with him what my dad used to do with me at this age. So my dad used to do the same thing as he's doing with his kid. We used to be in the front yard, and he would say to me, he would say, Jermaine, I'm Pedro Martinez, and he would mimic the, pitching stances and the windups as the pitchers at that time. So he would be like, I'm Pedro Martinez, I'm Roger Clemens, I'm Kurt Schilling. He would just like mimic them. And then he would say, you're in Boston right now and there's 40,000 fans. Do you hear them? And we would like have fun visualizing and seeing all of the fans, right? And he would just keep doing that with me. And then he said, all right, now, runners on second base. If you get a hit right now, he scores and you win the game. And you know what you get? You get a Kit Kat, or you get a Snicker, or you get a Twix, right? And he would make it very fun, and I would be visualizing in my head, and I'd be, he'll throw the pitch. He would mimic, the pitcher, and then he would throw the pitch, and I would hit it, and I would get a base hit, or I'll hit it hard, and then he would say, he'd be happy for me that I hit the ball hard, and then I would get my Twix or my Snicker or my Kit Kat. And let me tell you, now I am addicted to chocolate bars. Now, it's not the best thing, and I wouldn't recommend you do that. You can find other things that your kid is interested in and use that as a wager, but you get what I'm trying to share with you. Having that interaction in the front yard was our thing, and that thing became what I loved. And since I loved doing it, I wanted to do it more, which then led to me doing it more than other kids. And so what I'm saying here is something he also shared with me. He said, as a parent, you're just loading the coal and letting them drive the ship. I think this is crucial, and I think this is what you should be doing. And if you can make these practices fun, it's going to allow your son to really stand out. So with that said, if you enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. And if you would like a free swing breakdown where I can break down your swing and tell you exactly what you need to do, link is below in the description and in the comment section. So go ahead, take advantage of that before I do not do it anymore. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and talk to you soon.